Did we learn anything last night in the world of sports? Yes, I'd say a little bit. One, BYU came ready to play, and I want to give credit to everybody out there from BYU who basically they could have easily decided, and you heard us talking about this earlier with Jason Whitlock, but they could have easily decided based on the way things are going, particularly in the western part of the United States. BYU, as all their games got canceled, could have said, you know what? We don't really think it makes sense to play this year. The Pac-12 shut down. The Mountain West is shut down. No high schools are playing. In the grand scheme of things, most high schools are shut down anyway. They could have easily taken a step back and said, there's no point in us trying to play this year. Instead, I have to give credit to BYU and everybody in their administration and everybody in their athletic department for finding a way on the fly to put together a schedule. And they went out and completely dominated Navy. As good as Army looked against MTSU, Navy looked that bad against BYU. Big time win there. In the world of the NBA, the Boston Celtics get the win. They're now up 3-2. That series against the Toronto Raptors, probably close to being over, would be over, but for a crazy three-pointer getting drained with 0.5 seconds remaining in the game. So the Boston Celtics 3-2, likely in really good shape there. Don't have much to worry about potentially with 2 to go. The Clippers off of a disastrous game 2 where they got blown out in the first quarter and never really fought their way back into a legitimate chance to win that game. They came out, found a way to win last night in game 3, go up 2-1. They kept flashing on the screen that whoever wins the third game of the series wins about 73.5% of all series. So that is where we are in the larger landscape of athletics right now. Eddie Garcia is giving you guys updates on the NHL Stanley Cup. We're down to 4 teams remaining, and there was a beatdown last night that happened in there with Tampa Bay taking complete control over that series, scoring an inordinate number of goals. So that is where we are in all of the world of sports. A lot happened over the weekend that we haven't even hardly gotten into because I wasn't here on Monday. Novak Djokovic got kicked out. I think it's crazy. If you think about that Novak Djokovic scenario, if Roger Federer or Rafael Nadal is involved there, I don't think there's any way that they kick him out. Click those guys out. I think if Serena Williams, God forbid, had done that and they had kicked her out of the tournament, it would have turned into a huge thing about racism. Ridiculously, you know that is true. To me, there was no way to justify Novak Djokovic getting kicked out. I'm not a big tennis guy. Grew up loving to watch tennis. I like pretty much every sport. But to me, that's a really poor decision by the U.S. Tennis Federation, given the U.S. Tennis Association, given that scenario. And also, I feel like the woman who got hit by the tennis ball really overplayed that, right? I mean, I know that he didn't hit the ball that hard. And aren't you partly responsible for getting out of the way of the tennis ball? I mean, she acted like she had just gotten hit by a sniper instead of a tennis ball that was moderately hit. I mean, she went down. She looked like the worst flopper in the World Cup every year. And I thought if she had just been like, hey, I'm totally fine, no big deal. Hey, no, there's no way you can kick him out of the tournament. I feel like that would have gotten taken care of, but it was like she wanted him to be kicked out for it. I don't know. I thought it was super weird the way she reacted, and it really didn't seem like she was hit that hard. And I feel like there's a decent chance that somehow this is going to end in a lawsuit. I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like she's going to end up suing him before all is said and done. But you don't have Rafael Nadal or Roger Federer in the tournament. So Djokovic was pretty much the only reason anybody would watch. He was likely to go on and win this tournament and continue his pursuit of trying to become the winningest major champion of all time. And I don't understand how you end up kicking a guy out over this. So that went on in the world of tennis. I got to go with my sons and my wife down to Atlanta, and we stayed in the Atlanta hotel there at the Battery, which is the area around Truist Park where they play the Atlanta Braves games. And we stayed in a hotel room where you could look into the stadium. My fourth grader is about to have his birthday, and I said, you know what, this will be a perfect birthday present. He loves to watch the Atlanta Braves play, and so we watched from the hotel room. But even that, I got to tell you, we talked some, and I'm going to talk with Petros Papadakis about this in a little bit, but I said this to open the show. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me that Georgia Tech can have fans, the University of Georgia can have fans, the Atlanta Falcons can have fans, but the Atlanta Braves can't. There were a ton of people. If you haven't ever been to the Battery in Atlanta, it's an awesome setup. I mean, whoever designed that was fabulous. But there are a ton of restaurants. There's a lot of different entertainment options in general. There's bowling. There is escape games. And so I had all three of my kids, my 12, my 9, and my 5-year-old with us. And we were looking for ways to entertain them on Saturday before the evening baseball game we were going to watch. And so we went in. There's a bowling alley there, and we could have bowled indoors. There's a video arcade. There is an escape game. We're trying to find things that kids would enjoy being able to do. And ultimately, we decided to do an escape game. And so my thought process here is, wait a minute, you're telling me that right now I can be locked inside of an enclosed area solely for entertainment. If you haven't done one of these escape games, my kids like them. I'm not really an escape game guy. I don't like all the mind twisting. Like, I got enough stress in my life. The last thing I want to do is be locked in a room and have to figure out how to get out. It's not my thing. But the kids loved it and loved doing it. So we had an escape game as parents, designed for kids, whatnot. But it's an indoor facility, and you are literally locking me inside of a tiny room for the entirety of the until we can escape, right? That's permitted, but I'm not permitted to sit in a stadium outdoors in a socially distanced manner and watch a baseball game. And by the way, I don't know how they're set up in other cities, but they have a big jumbotron that a lot of people are bringing their chairs and their picnics and everything else and spreading out there in the center of the Battery to watch the game, literally next door to the field. Like, you could throw a football into the field, throw a baseball probably onto the field, and there are 1,000 people or whatever it is all spread out watching there. I can go into any restaurant. Like Saturday night, my fourth grader absolutely loves being able to go into a sports bar. So Saturday night, he's about to be 10, and he already thinks the greatest thing in life is to get like nachos and watch a bunch of different sporting events going on. So he's a lot like his dad. But Saturday night, we're in a packed sports bar. We've got the Nuggets-Clippers game 2 going on. We've got the game between Arkansas State and Memphis that we're watching, and we're watching the Atlanta Braves baseball game. So we're watching all three of those events. Packed sports bar. And you can be indoors in a sports bar watching the Braves, who are literally playing next door, but I can't sit in the stadium and watch them play outdoors. It just doesn't make any sense at all. And sometimes I feel like I'm taking crazy pills with the restrictions that are going to be put in place. I'm going to talk some about this with Petros Papadakis next.
This is Outkick the Coverage with Clay Travis.